Okay, so welcome to a weekend workshop. Today we're going to continue putting the water pump back into the Napier. Between Christmas and New Year, I rebuilt the pump. Okay, so welcome back. Between Christmas and New Year, I managed to get the water pump off the Napier, and basically there's two seals going there. And they've been leaking a long time, and what you can do is basically you pump waterproof grease through there and it creates a bit of a bridge there, but it was still leaking through, so you know, even on a relatively short journey we were always having to pump grease into there. So what I've decided to do is take it apart and just make sure the bearings are okay, and put some, what I'm going to do is put some modern seals in there. We'll still use the grease to act as a barrier, but I'm going to put some modern silicone seals in there, just basically just to give me just to make it better really. So I had a bit of a struggle to get it off because I wasn't doing it all in one. I was just coming out here a little bit at a time. But today I've managed to get it all off. I'm just going to take it apart. I've put it in the parts washer once. I'm going to take it apart a bit more. There's all waterproof grease in here. I'd quite like to see if I can get that off with the in the parts washer. And I've never taken this apart before, so it's all a voyage of discovery really. So let's have a soft hammer. I'm guessing there'll probably be a gasket in between there. We'll probably use silicone sealant, but so I'm not entirely sure how this comes apart. So I really want to just take it apart so I can have a look at the bearing surfaces of the shaft. So I've looked after this car 20 years or so and I've never taken this apart, so it hasn't been apart in the last 20 years. It's actually coming apart. There we go. One half. So unfortunately, because I was doing the work between Christmas and New Year, and I kept on coming out for a little bit at a time, I forgot to actually record most of it. And in the video I was saying that I hadn't taken it apart for 20 years, or it hadn't been apart for 20 years in the 20 years that I'd looked after the car. So, but what I actually found is someone had been in there previously and had put modern seals in and they're just worn out. So I don't know if you can see this. This little O-ring, and this is a new one that I bought, which was exactly like the one that had been put in previously. And unfortunately I didn't record rebuilding the water pump, and I've half put the pump in now. So I've replaced those, pumped it full of grease, and hopefully now it won't leak. It never used to leak, so obviously that modification was quite successful in the past. So there we go, we've managed to put the water pump in. I don't know, can't remember. So basically the water pump is driven from the front of the engine. There's a pulley there that drives the dynamo, but the actual axle that goes through the water pump also drives the magneto. So it's all got to be timed in, it's got to be timed in exactly so that the engine runs properly. So what I've done is when I took it apart, I almost locked the engine in one place. I don't know if you can see there. Let me get a torch. I don't know if you can see there, on the flywheel there, the engine's set at top dead center. So in theory the engine shouldn't have moved. Now to fit the water pump I've got to move the engine backwards and forwards slightly, but I want it to, when I've finished, be put back to top dead center. Okay, so the water pump's now bolted on, and that mark lines up with here, and the mark on there lines with there. So hopefully the timing's just about right. We can check that when the engine starts, or when we get the engine started. But the next thing to do now is we need to make some gaskets to go on here. So I think that's the next thing we'll go and do. Okay, so we've got to make 3 gaskets, and they're all this size. So I've got some gasket paper here. By tapping down with a hammer, you get the basic shape. So a ball peen hammer. And then what we can do is we can just tap around the centre. That's where we want the centre to be. I'm going to actually make that with a hole punch because the holes needs to be a bit bigger than this. tapping around with a ball peen hammer. It's the sharp edges of the flange. Just cuts it out, but we haven't got a sharp edge in there. So I'll just use a hole punch in there. What's your gasket made? So there we go. It was a bit of a struggle getting the water pump off, but normally it's a general rule that once you've done something and taken it off, it's easier to put it on. But this water pump's been fighting me all the way. But the water pump's all on now. I can't fill it with water yet because what I've got to do is I've got to put the carburetor back on, and then that's got a hot water feed to the manifold, so the manifold's water heated. So once we get that on, we can then fill it up with water and see how many leaks we've got. Okay, so if it's a nice day tomorrow, I'll perhaps take it out for a run, but whenever I stop this overnight, I always turn the fuel off and let the fuel run out. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm nearly there at the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I really want to get over that. So that will really help me if we can get over that. So please like this video, and we'll see you next time. And remember, how hard can it be?